Toffee TV, the Everton News Daily, and as it's the penultimate day of the transfer window, it is me and Baz having a chat about all things transfers, because that's what we know gets you excited at home, amongst other things. Movement today at USM Finch Farm, don't forget, I'm still prepared to change my name. USM Finch Farm in association with Shaw. It makes you smell sound. That should be the tagline. It makes you smell sound. So
you smell marvellous.
Oh yes!
Done.
Cross-brand pollination.
Done. People will be going, you isn't spelled with you, but it is this way. At USM.
So Everton have, we've talked about lots of people wanting us to sign lots and lots and lots of players. But equally important, and we've said this all the time, is getting rid of the dead wood. We've said that for weeks.
Dead wood's a bit harsh.
It's not. Is it
getting
football?
Rid of players that are no longer
football
needed by the football club.
What about a player who's played about 8 minutes all season? What would you refer to him as?
Shite. Raphael.
See, dead wood is what I would say. 2 players have left. For another Premier League club. They are Darren Gibson and Brian Oviedo. Now,
both names spelt like not how you necessarily imagine.
They're both foreign.
Yeah.
Well,
Darren, Brian.
They're foreign now. So, I mean, what we're getting, like 8 million,
7.5 to 8 million.
Yeah, for 2, which isn't bad.
People bemoaned giving Gibson a contract.
Gibson could have got
some money back.
Gibson could have gone in the summer. I don't know what his wages have been between then and then, but Brian Oviedo's gone. I mean, Gibson's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's an absolute no-brainer. He hasn't played this season, not anywhere near the level. Darren Gibson has always been someone I've liked as a footballer. I think he's a tremendous footballer. When he came in, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. This is a player that people forget played.
Been here 5 years. Well, it was January 2012 when he came in, wasn't it?
You reminded me of something last week. This was a player who played 90 minutes at Wembley in April
exactly.
in a FA Cup semi-final.
And was alright.
And was okay.
Yeah.
So, he got the 2-year contract, and as I say, he hasn't played, but it's sad because I've said this before, if he wasn't for the injuries, could have been a top-class player at Man United. He came to us, he gave us some good moments. He scored that goal against Manchester City.
Which we have 20, weren't we? 25, and I know when he played for us, he didn't lose a game.
He was amazing
in the league. It was bizarre, wasn't it?
He scored the goal against Man City, which I'll always remember because my good friend Eric Howell was in the Galaxy with me that night, and it was a boss night because we signed Jelavic and we went on to sign Pina. It was just a great night. Always remember doing the little skills against Man City as well. You remember when
his best moments against Man City, what you saying?
Good player, just didn't turn out the way we'd like to have done. Obviously,
got injured, didn't he, at West Brom, and then he was out for a while.
Injured quite a lot,
and that was it then. Yeah.
Obviously, had his off-field issues, let's say, as well, which we won't go into. But a player we never obviously got his full potential of, but I'm not sure we were ever going to get the full potential.
I honestly believe he wouldn't have picked up that injury that Jakob done him, didn't he, down at West Brom. And I think up until then he was a key part for us. I remember we were doing the radio at the time, and we loved him, didn't we, because he just sat in the middle of that park and he just got it, and he was just dead sensible. And even his passing ability, I remember he came on a couple of years ago at home to Leicester, and we were getting beat 2-0, and he turned the game. We ended up drawing, didn't turn the game, but we ended up drawing 2-2, and we just had someone who all of a sudden could see a pass from nowhere, and you were like, my God, he's still such a good footballer. His ball too, I think it was Kevin Morales against Wolfsburg at home, and he just dissected from our half, just dissected the whole pitch in Morales. I think it was Morales or Naismith, one of them ran through and slotted, and you just look and go, he still had that ability to. He was, absolutely fantastic footballer, but was never fit enough.
No.
Couldn't get him on the pitch enough, and then as them appearances became less and less and less, he just become a non-entity, didn't he, really? And like you say, he had other issues going on. And I think it's a good move for everybody all around. It's a good move for him. Get up there to Sunderland, he'll play, they need players. He will probably go up there and do quite well, because he's a good footballer. He's just allowed to sit train a couple of days a week and just keep himself ticking over. It's a good sign by Moyes.
Brian Oviedo's another one. I mean, he's played for us this season. Played, I think he's like 6 times in the Premier League. Obviously when Baines was out, did okay. Made mistakes in some games. I remember the free kick. He made a stupid foul that led to the free kick where Burnley scored the winner. Little bit of lack of intelligence at times where he just switched off.
That was no need. The Burnley one was on the touchline, on the halfway line. He goes.
But a player that came in for what, 2.5 million, something like that. Came in for buttons.
Yeah, he come in, but it was rising to whatever.
Yeah, come in for.
He's done well.
He's been a solid.
Okay, he's another one, no injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, couple of injuries.
It's the leg break just ruined him because he was really he was doing really well for us at the time. He was scoring, he was up and down, he was quick, and you thought he was a genuine threat to Baines, even though we loved Baines. Baines was out. Oviedo was brilliant, and then he gets that injury.
I mean, obviously, always be remembered for the goal at Old Trafford, that big moment, and that was a good little spell that for him. Obviously, I think over the Christmas he scored against Stoke, was it?
Right foot, yeah.
And he had a lovely little spell at the time, and as you say, the injury against
Stephen,
was it Stephen or was it Chelmsford?
Stephen,
was it? Yeah, was horrific, and he'd had niggles before that. Remember when he got? It was against Young Boys, wasn't it? When he got that injury, and it was just like, I'm all right, and we didn't see him for the rest of the season. It's like any little thing would just finish him. But it's a good move for him as well, because he can. He's another one.
He's a leg break, and then the videos all the way back to getting Costa Rica's World Cup squad. Oh, yeah. It was like running. We were going. How's he running? He's like, he broke his leg 8 weeks ago, and his leg was in like. And
in the end, he just like. He didn't even get anywhere near it, and I don't even think he was fit for the season. No, so, sad to see him leave because he's a wholehearted player. But again, he's another one that I think Koeman made his mind up about. But it's interesting because Koeman's been in the press today, and he was like, I had no intentions of selling him. No. And then it almost felt like Oviedo had a bit of a heart-to-heart with him. Said, "Listen, I just want to play football." And I think it almost seemed like to me, Koeman had made the decision with his heart rather than his head, and just thought, do you know what, I really like this fella and I want him to have a good career, and he's not going to have one sitting on the bench. And it actually, I did a video last week on Everton Newsday, and I was saying it actually makes no sense selling him, and it sort of still doesn't make any sense selling him. But I think what he's done is he's looked at it and gone, well, and a good point he made was he said we've got young players who can come in and play there. I think what he's done is he's looked at it and gone, if Baines gets injured, is it going to kill our season? No. I'm going to let him go, and it's fair on him. And it's also, he's probably thinking, if I was in Moyes' situation, I'd be like, I really need this player. He's probably thinking, do I really need Brian Oviedo? The answer is no.
Yeah, I think he's obviously sat. I mean, it's probably sad to Koeman. We don't expect having a little bit of a heart.
No.
But I think he's probably looked at it, and I think you're right. Without the cup, so we haven't got that little thing to, that little fillip to say to Oviedo, we might need you playing one game a week. If Baines gets injured, Gareth Barry can play left back, Funes Mori's gone there, but we've also got young lads who can probably come and fit in there, and you don't really want to start tailoring the team to play like that, but like you say, do we really need him? Oviedo's not getting any younger.
But hasn't he been on the bench, has he?
No.
He hasn't been getting on the bench.
Got on the weekend, wasn't he, at Palace? But that was it.
Because Baines had
the rib injury, just in case. So he's probably looked at it. And it's all, the other thing as well is it's trimming off the wage bill, isn't it? You're trimming the fat off that to say, what, if we want to bring another couple in, there's none of that. Or do we have to do this? And he probably just thought, Sunderland really want him. He's going to go and be important to them. He's not important to us as such. Why keep him? And Oviedo obviously probably delighted to just go and play.
And that's fair enough, because like it's almost like the opposite of Darren Gibson. You look at Oviedo and you think he's always give everything for us, and he's literally.
I don't give.
No, I'm not saying Gibson hasn't, but I think that
always had the goal.
But I think there are people though.
Lifestyles are different.
That people will look at it and go, well, it would seem that maybe if he had a slightly different lifestyle, he wouldn't have the problem with the injury. Whereas you look at Oviedo and just say that's a fella who
he's been unlucky.
And has got injured playing for Everton and does want to play. And we know he's not good enough, but that's not his fault. He's just not good enough. That's not a reason to go, I'll give him stick. He's just not good enough, and
I've never given
stick. And he deserves
I just think he's, like you say, I think the problem with Oviedo is, I do personally always compare him to Baines, and Baines is such a good footballer that it's glaring when someone isn't at that level who's kind of replacing.
I also think we have to start looking now long term at replacing Baines, and Oviedo wasn't a long term replacement. So if we can get someone in now to replace him, if we made that replacement, it would be more beneficial to that person, because you could say to that person, whoever it is, listen, you'll come in for the odd game, but your long term development is to replace Leighton Baines. That makes more sense.
Luke Arbert.
Luke Arbert, I mean, who knows about Luke?
I'm just...
No, but who knows what anything about Luke? Someone asked us the question of the day. I think he's been taken off Wigan's website, and you just think to yourself, where is that lad's career going? I don't know is the answer to it.
Galloway's a mad one, isn't it? I can understand. West Brom want us to pay his loan, half of his loan fee back that they paid us to have him back, which you kind of go, yeah, I get that. But are Everton likely?
See, if Galloway was back at the club, he would be the perfect one, because you could say he can play there, he can play centre back. He'd be the perfect one to say he could fill in that role, but he's not at the club. I mean, the one I'd go for, and I've said this loads of times, is Robertson at Hull. I think he's an excellent player. Maybe he thinks he might be going to Burnley as well, but it certainly opens the door, and it means that the opening is there now for a new up and coming left back.
Ideally you'd go and get that Rodriguez who scored that free kick against us for Wolfsburg. He plays over in the not what a lot of clubs want him, but that left foot is incredible. He's got I think he's Swiss. Fantastic left foot, but I think he's about 24, 25. It'd be ideal, wouldn't it? Yeah. But he'd want to play every week, obviously, because he's a top player. So you're trying to find that balance now. And in some ways you need a Luke Garber type who was happy to be Baines' understudy and try to overthrow that.
I haven't got a clue what's going on.
I'm not saying Garber, that's the kind
I just don't know what's going on with Luke Garber.
We were linked with a couple of Dutch young left backs last week who were 18, 19. So you don't know whether Koeman's got an eye on that.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know what Everton's under 23 left back is off the top of my head.
Well, Matty Folds has played there, but he's more with the 18s, isn't he? So I think Getting Jones played a lot of games there, but he's gone on loan to Barnsley. Callum Connolly can play both sides, but he played for Wigan against United at the weekend. Done all right. So obviously they're happy. David Undreth, you just leave it in his hands.
I think the main thing to say is that Oviedo isn't good enough for where we want to go, and that's the way the Everton are thinking. So it's fine, isn't it? Ty Browning has gone to Preston on loan, which I think is good. He also signed a new 2.5-year contract, which is great news as well. He's another one who's been really unlucky with injuries. Came in a couple of years ago, had a little cameo at Anfield, a little cameo at Old Trafford. Played brilliantly in both games. Looks physical, looks like he's got pace, but obviously he's had a bad injury, and we just need games to just get him to a level.
Definitely, and the experience, playing when it matters. It's great playing for the 23s and things like that, where you're training with your mates and you go and play. Playing for Preston where it matters to people, it's people's livelihoods, and there's fans there who paid money to watch it, and it means something that makes young players grow. It's exactly what Kieran Dall was talking about the other day, and why we may see Kieran Dall go out tomorrow on loan somewhere.
And of course you'd have the guidance of Aidan McGeady there.
Listen, that's probably been the main selling point.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, the fancy dress game that Aidan McGeady plays is second to none.
He's got a strong fancy dress game.
He's up there with the best.
And he's also created the greatest FA Cup goal of the season this year with that little 360 against Arsenal on the pass.
The McGeady 360. We've been linked with a Sheffield United goalkeeper that I can't remember his name.
Aaron Ramsfield. Dale bottom.
Yeah.
Rams bottom.
So that, obviously that's for the under 23 squad, which we're trying to get. Obviously we're moving things about, which I think shows that they are treating that really seriously, almost like a B team.
It's a bit mad, isn't it? Isn't this a bit mad? It's not, because obviously we know what they're doing, but it's a bit mad seeing Everton do this,
but
isn't
it's treating it really the right way though, aren't they? They're treating it like, and I suppose the Premier League are probably trying to push this.
It's a holding bay for players who've gone into our squad. That's how it is. It never was. It never was. It used to be these kids at 18 are decent, and one might be alright. We might get one on the bench of the first team in the future. Now you're looking and going, half a dozen of these are good enough to be in our first team squad, and we're bringing in players who are gonna push them.
But it does feel like a proper B team, and it's different from what I think we've advocated in the past, where we said we want like the Rezzies, we want players to drop down, and but it's not. It's like a proper B team, and I know it goes back to this the Jose Baxter thing, which I very quickly. I mean, I touched upon it last week. It's weird, but at the same time, it makes sense to me for what it does. But because there is that separation, and I think this is what people have got to start. It would actually be better if it was Everton B. But the way Man City call their they call theirs the development squad. I think we should start calling the under-23s our B team. Honestly, I think just so people can get it into their heads what it is and what it does. Like we've just brought the lad in from Wolfsburg, and he's gone to our under-23s on loan, and we're looking to bring the lad from Man City and to go to our under-23s, and we're trying to freshen up the under. To that, in the old days, that's even to us, that's a little bit. Well, it is weird, isn't it? Because your Rezzies are the step before it, but it's not. It's like a different team, and it's the thing with the Baxter thing that people need to remember. It's a different team. It ain't a stepping stone for Jose Baxter to get anywhere near the first team. We were told those two squads don't mix. The first team have their own facilities at USM Finch Farm. Sure for men.
You smell marvellous.
Well, thank you. Because that's what they are. They're different. If you want to be with the first team, you've got to get to the level. They don't have the same canteen which they used to do and all those kind of things. It's a very separate entity.
It is, but it is also, that doesn't mean it can't be treated like a reserve side, because obviously it's a stepping stone into the first team, but it's only a stepping stone into the first team if you're anywhere near good enough. Donker's come in highly rated and all that. Is he? Because Wolfsburg are tying him down, I don't know. But he's going to come in and be assessed, and if he does well, he'll sign a contract in the summer, and they'll keep him and then try and develop him. The Baxter thing has got so many different facets to it. It's not just he's free and Everton are giving him a contract to get him back in the first team. My thing is he's going to struggle to get in the 23s because they're that good. We've got Harry Charlesley there. We've got Nathan Broadhead, who scored every game basically for the 18s, has had to wait 6 months for his under 23 debut because David Undred said he just wasn't good enough to get in.
And we just got rid of a lad to West Ham. That wasn't
getting so.
But the argument is, people's argument is, and I understand, he's going to block someone from getting in.
But he's not going to block
him.
And I understand what, and I understand the other thing of, well, he's done this. Why should we be paying?
Well, you put your social worker head on it.
Yeah, there's, I work with people every day who are struggling in life, and for whatever reason, it's great to if people who can lord it over people, fair enough, but I don't think you should. I'm not a drug user, do you know what I mean? But other people have used drugs, and does that mean that we cast them off and just go, right, you're a waste? But there's a lot of people who need help, do you know what I mean? But Jose Baxter's somebody who has obviously got a talent to play football. I don't think, I'm going to say it right now, he's not good enough for the Premier League. He's not quick enough. No. But he's obviously a good footballer because he was making a living. I scored a goal at Wembley and has had, played well for Sheffield United. For whatever reason, he's found hard times. Now, he's gone and done where he's found himself sacked by the club because he's breached their policy by Sheffield United. Fair enough, no complaints. And he's gone and done work with Everton in the community while he's trying to build himself back up. Rehabilitate. He done an interview. Bill Kenwright seen the interview, felt sorry for him. This is all out, and felt sorry for him, and has said, "Can we give him a leg back up?" And so the only kind of way to do that, given his age and everything else, was through the 23s. And what I think will happen is Jose Baxter will go and he'll train, he'll still do the community stuff, and probably 12 months from now, he'll sign for a League One or.
He might make a couple of he might make appearances in. Like the Lancashire Cup or something
like that. Games.
It's a top-down exercise, isn't it? It's a lot of people out there going, he doesn't deserve the chance, and I understand that because he's had a privileged. That people think he's had a privileged. He's got the money and all the rest of it. But I think what people have got to remember is it's a top-down exercise. It's Everton pointing out, that everyone's vulnerable at some point in their lives and do deserve a second chance. People mightn't agree with me, and they say, well, if we can help this fella out, we will help others out.
But we do it. Our community, is Everton in the community.
The under 20
is second to none, and he could almost be used as an example for other young kids who were looking, going, he was here, and then next minute he's fell out the game. Or you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's how it can be.
Don't forget as well, the under 23s have have this year-long charity program they're doing, which we're going to try and get someone in to have a chat about, and it is about helping the homeless, and they've done this thing, you know, where they've slept in the stadium and all of this. And don't forget, I think people have got to remember that it's a slippery. I mean, they say that everyone's only 2 pay packets not being paid for 2 months from being homeless, and I think you've got to remember, okay, he's in a privileged position, he's had money and all the rest of it, but it doesn't mean he's not immune to that situation, or any of us immune to that situation, just looking from the greater good. And just because he was a footballer, you know, it doesn't mean, it's like with the Stan Collymore thing, where he was like, John Gregory said to him, what have you got to be depressed about? And it's like, I've got depression. It doesn't.
The wages don't matter.
It doesn't ask me about, you know, whether I'm a footballer or not. It's sort of the same about him. He's had a problem, and Everton are giving him this second chance to get on with his life, because you've got to remember as well, we live in these live in these times where if you don't help, people can become a hindrance to someone else very quickly, and then suddenly, you know, you walk around town, you see all the homeless people, and you go, well, if someone had helped them at some stage, we wouldn't have to help them loads more now. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You see it every day.
Mate.
It is, isn't it? It's prevention is the cause, right? You know, rather than,
if you get in early, a lot of cases like that, if you can get in with early intervention, you can alter the final, you know, where they're going, their final destination, so to speak. But
I know this is a little bit. I know we have gone a little bit.
Well, I think the other thing as well, he did say some stuff as a Liverpool fan. People didn't like that, but it's one of those things. We move on, don't we? But that's my opinion on it. It's done. The way I look at it, and I'll be totally honest, good on the club for helping him. I hope he sorts his life out and gets a League One club and goes and has a good career and helps other people, because he's being helped. As an Evertonian, looking at how the first team is, I pay no attention to, because I know that he's not better than the likes of Kieran Dowell.
Not getting anywhere near.
So he's not getting anywhere near Everton, and that's my take on it.
There you go. We're still none the wiser with 24 a bit hours to go. About income, you know, he wants to bring.
Are we doing this here, or are we doing a separate one?
No,
this is gone.
I'll do it now.
Okay. You'll have to like a deadline date on them, but yeah, go ahead.
That's for tomorrow. He's not. We don't know if anyone's coming in. He's mentioned he was asked about a striker, and he said, "Well, the replacement striker is Valencia," which will upset a few people.
Okay.
No,
that's what he said.
Well, we don't.
Do you believe him?
I don't.
Do you believe anything any football manager
I've said this
ever
before.
says?
Football managers lie. They do it for a living.
I think the thing with Koeman is, I think this time it probably approaching it with a lot more caution. Last time he was quite adamant what he wanted on deadline day. He said the day before, last time we were open to bring 3 or 4 in, nothing happened. We ended up getting Valencia. There was meltdown. I think because they're not as far down the line with certain players as they want, he's just
keeping his options open.
He's probably just saying, you know.
I think you've got to remember as well, I mean, we've brought Lookman in, we've brought Schneiderlin in, they're the ones he wanted to get done. He's looked at other players, and then he's probably thought, nah, it's not worth taking the risk.
Well, you said something before about the Depay thing. You know, Memphis Depay, you were quite open about Memphis Depay early December. Memphis Depay was an option. Adamola Lookman comes in, Koeman sees him in training, sees him flying, and this kid's dancing around places if they're not there. Great attitude, and he's probably looked and gone, Depay, it's going to cost us £21 million, big wages, 80,000-90,000 a week,
hassle, and
he's a gamble. And I've got this kid here who looks like he could do very similar to Depay. Why take that risk? And that's
and then also you've got the emergence of Tom Davies, which means that, and I know you look at it and go, well, Tom Davies takes the pressure off Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley can play in where the position Kevin Morales is playing. Kevin Morales has come more into it. The formation now suits, and he's probably and I know people will go, well, you said this or he said that or the other. He's probably looked at it and gone, and something you said before was, why buy a 7 now and we can buy an 8 in the summer, or when we can buy a 9 in the summer, and not numbers, like ratings. You know, why take the gamble now on someone like Belfodil when in the summer we can do a little bit more and go and get a top class player?
Because you're only trying to move him on in the summer then, for no reason. So I listen, with 24 hours away, we know that they're trying to complete on a couple of deals. Whether that happens,
we know.
Whether it happens, we don't.
It's just not.
It's not
giving anyone hope.
Well, he's just saying that at this moment in time, you know, we don't know. But I think he'll definitely want a couple in. I just think when I look at it, and I don't know about you, I just look at our squad now and I think, but January got 16 games to go. I think we're okay with the keepers. They're fine. I think the back line okay. Yeah, we're a left back light, but you know he's talked about that. Centre back. You know, Keane's been mentioned today, so obviously we should discuss it. You know, Michael Keane looks a real prospect. You know, he's at Manchester United. He's 23, I think, 24. Big physical player. Seems a
Jack
Yelker replacement. £20 million being bandied about. If I'm Burnley, I'm not selling him.
No.
Wait till the summer.
Why would you?
It's just ridiculous. But if they get a couple, you know, you look at it like that. Then I look at the midfield, and we said on the preview Stoke video, it's so strong, our centre midfield. No issues about us getting anyone there.
And strong in terms that there's versatility as well.
Loads of versatility, loads of permutations. We can even flip and have Ross as a 10 and put 3 solid players behind him who have still got legs. So that's fine. For me now, personally, if we bring in a forward player, which they're looking at doing, I'm happy to go.
I think the number one is, I think the position we've needed for a while is still that centre forward, but it's going to be
split striker.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest positions to buy. It really is.
But that, if we could get that, I'd be more than happy then with us till the summer, and then you start looking in the summer and going, right, who out of this isn't good enough? Who can we? Is it James McCarthy? Is it? And then we want to get this player and spend 50 million on that player.
That's where the game starts.
And that's when it's exactly.
But look at Man City. Look how hard they've got all the money, and they still look at their squad. It's not that much better than ours in terms of they've got quality players in 3 or 4 positions. And then you go, well, hang on, we've got better fullbacks than them.
We've got better centre halves than them.
You know,
to be fair.
Yeah, well, that's where it's interesting.
Mate, I wouldn't swap.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying because we sold them and we still got better centre halves. So,
exactly. I think you're right. I think that's what
it's going to. Let's wait.
But I mean, if we only brought one in, I'm sure you're thinking it's got to be an attacking midfielder or a centre forward
for me. Centre forward.
It's got to be that, or someone who just plays off romp. That's the area that I know they're looking at, and that's the area we need to be looking at. Give him the assistance for the rest of the season. Everywhere else, I think we're okay with.
Happy days. There you go. Let us know in the comments what do you think we need with just over 24 hours to go. Let us know in the comments. You know, do you disagree with anything we say about the players we've got rid of, or the Jose Baxter situation, which we've probably gone in a little bit
much too deep.
No, I think that's the way the club are looking at it. So that's the way we've got to look at it. Any others? Any other business? Why we're just throwing it in?
Just that. Well, the young Brazilian kid was linked, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Chao Emerson. Which was quite it was a mad link, because obviously Barcelona have been linked with Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and apparently he's chosen to join Everton. But again, he's a 17-year-old, and Tim Vickery, who's got a great record, man. To be fair,
he's actually got a good record.
Well. I don't know, Funes Mori's got a little bit better lately. But anyway, Tim Vickery, obviously a South American correspondent, was like, I don't really know much about him, so he's going to be going into...
Do you know the last person he didn't know anything about?
Go on. Neymar.
Leandro Rodriguez. Works in the Kentucky Fried Chicken on West Derby Road. This
lad's 17, looks quite quick. I had a little look at YouTube. On YouTube he looks alright. Yeah.
To be fair though, Steve Vickery's got to Tim Vickery's got to cover
Steve Vickers.
Steve Vickers, yeah.
Tranmere centre. What's he got to do with
Tim
this?
Vickers got to cover a continent.
Has,
He's not going to know everything.
Yeah.
If we employ actual scouts to go looking for these people.
If we're just there, South America, get Tim Vickery on the phone.
It's a massive place.
He's like that. What? Fella from Chile, 3rd division. He's not very good. I haven't heard of him. He's only scored 1,000 goals in 8 weeks. No, I think at the end of the day, he's another one who would go into the development squad. But it's a bit of
for far.
But I just love the fact that Everton win the race.
For someone you've never...
No,
Brazilian!
No, what it said was Everton win the race for new Neymar.
Oh, God. Used to be new Pele till Neymar came. The best one...
At the Beardy Pele. Remember him?
Yeah, well, you know his two kids are?
His kids are...
Are you brothers? Yeah. They're his kids. He's going from Villa to Swansea. And they've just sold one from Swansea to West Ham. Weird. The best one finally before we go, Manchester Evening News, which are always an amazing place to get confirmed stories.
News,
is that bookmakers slash odds on Seamus Coleman to go to Manchester United. How many times have we heard that before?
And it's always from the MEN.
It is always from
It's like I think they've probably just got like the 2013 edition out.
I think they've got
recycle it.
I think they've just got shares in a bookies. Anyway, thanks for watching Toffee TV. This has been the slightly extended Everton News Daily. We'll see you later.